Let's go live on the gram.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Going live on the gram. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Happy Thursday. We are almost to the end of the week. Good morning, regular listening. Thank you for joining us on the gram. Holly Pennington from Texas joining us over on the gram too. And I'm sure we've got a couple people on X and LinkedIn. Taylor Turner Ivy joining us over on the gram. Got some good stuff that we're actually talking about today. Help if I could actually see my screen. There we go.
I was like, Fly's not here today. It's a double Mo show today.
It is a double Mo show today. I love the hair. The hair is fantastic. And the glasses.
It's yours. It is.
I'm Mo Regalato, and over there is Miss Fly Jefferson, who's pretending to be Mo Regalato today.
Is there any greater, dress up as your boss? You know what I mean?
I know Ruby was, loving that wig.
Yeah, and then she was like, when I was, trying to figure out how to do it, she was like, that doesn't look anything like Mo. She was like, that doesn't look anything like her.
You're like, I'm sorry, child.
Well, I just A for effort. This is a solid C effort. This is some class C effort right here, I gotta say.
I'm a class C kind of girl. So
no, that's not what I mean. I'm just it's sort of, it's what approximation. Just this is the closest I could get in the amount of time and resources that I had to put, but you can't see the bun. All right. I'm not taking it off. Also, yeah. I can't take this off.
The eyebrows are primo eyebrows.
Haven't seen a lot of spooky Halloween content. The only spooky Halloween content that I've seen really is people hawking their bad AI tools to be make yourself into a Halloween poster. And I'm just that's cool, but what are people really paying $5 on an app to just do that? I don't know, but it's just I wish I do. It's also tough because it's Q4, right? And so I know there's not a lot of extra wiggle room to do things. But the last time last year, Molzer and his crew dressed up as spooky spooks and walked around the Aladdin, and that was pretty cool. So I don't know. I have high hopes for tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, so I actually was super excited to see what Miss Amy Calandrino did at her new office. Did you see that post? It was amazing. I am so impressed by people who actually decorate. Just full stop. Just impressed by people who decorate in general. But when they really get into it for Halloween and stuff like that, it just warms the cockles of my heart. Makes me very happy. Right? All right, so today we are talking about a topic that we've hit on before. I've talked about this quite a bit when I've been reprimanding you people for using copyrighted music available on social platforms for schlepping your wares, and you shouldn't do that. It's totally against everything. In fact, terms of service on most social platforms will tell you that you can get kicked off for doing that. And you can also get sued. It's Witches Day every day between the two of us.
Every day, especially Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah. So, but I happened to come across a really interesting post from Mari Smith. If you don't know who Mari Smith is, highly recommend that you connect with her on she's not so much on LinkedIn. She is the Facebook queen.
She's hard on Facebook. Yeah,
hard on Facebook. She has been she's actually probably one of the very first classes that I ever took online for social media was through Mari Smith, to learn about ads, to learn about everything. Fabulous woman. And she knows all things Facebook, all things digital, all the things, right? She's been doing this a really long time. So I was on Facebook yesterday, happened to see a post that she did talking about AI and speakers, specifically for speakers. And she shared a document, which we can go ahead and we'll send it to you, just DM us, and I'll send you the link to it because it's just a Google Drive link. I don't know if Fly can put it in the comments. I think I put it in our thread.
I'll drop it in the
Yeah.
comments.
So that document is a document that she had written for her from her attorney, talking about the fact that when she does a lot of speaking engagements, right? So specifically for her, she wants to make sure that if her speaking engagements are recorded, that there's not going to be any AI likeness made of her, any AI content created from those speaking engagements. It's actually super smart. Honestly, like, wow, that's a really big.
That didn't work. Sorry.
Just DM us and we'll send you that link. But it's a good reminder that your face isn't free and neither is anybody else's. There are real Vogue. Anyway, that's dated. There are very real legal and ethical issues when it comes to using somebody's likeness on social media in any of your promotional materials. And if you tell me, well, it wasn't a promotional material, if it was on your business page, guess what? It was a promotional material. It was promotional material. Regardless of how you think about it. Well, I wasn't selling anything. You were standing in a warehouse. What do you sell? You sell warehouses. And you had John Cena next to you. Like, no, like, we know that you weren't, unless, like, honestly, you were meeting John Cena, and then that would be super fascinating.
Doesn't he follow everyone on
He
X?
follows everybody on X, yes.
I remember at some point he like got into the CREI community and like there was like 20 people who were like, John Cena just followed me.
I was one of those people who made a joke about it. I was like, John Cena. Okay. Because like if you yell John Cena in my house, you'll hear somebody do the That's what happens. Funny. So this is just a good reminder that just because you can doesn't mean you should. So again, we're talking about Mari Smith. She came up with a fabulous contract about how you can or cannot use her likeness, her image. Now, this also goes for all of those Sora videos that we've been seeing with, and I actually did a post about this on, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. I did a post about this, about like, you'll see videos of Mr. Rogers and Tupac, sharing 40s. Those are funny, but that is somebody's copyrighted material. That is their IP, right? And if you put yourself in a video with those two, regardless of how funny it is, on your personal and not shared with like on your business page, there's still some ethical questions about that. But if you share something like that on your business pages, you are setting yourself up for liability and for being sued. You do not have a license to use it. It is copyright infringement. It is IP theft. And a lot of these celebrities, celebrity likenesses, estates of celebrities who have passed,
estates will come for you.
They will. They want their money, right? And so you need to make sure that you're fully aware of that. The other thing I want to say is that, we talk about it all the time, is that screenshots live forever. So even if you post it as a joke and then you're like, oh shit, I'm going to get screwed over this, and then you delete it. Yeah. Somebody's probably screenshot that. And you can borrow someone's, I don't even want to say that. I don't think there's any ethical way to create like video content with the likeness or image of a celebrity or a person of stature, and get away with it. I do think that we are going to be in an era in the next couple of years, and I realize I've been saying this for a while, that there's going to be lawsuits flying. And the reason why I bring that up is because there are already, this is kind of going off on a side tangent, but if your website is not ADA compliant, meaning that you have something on your website that allows people who are sight impaired or hearing impaired to be able, so like for the sight impaired, like there's certain things that you can do with your fonts and cannot do with your fonts, and what size they need to be, and there's like what the contrast needs to be on your website. And then for the sight impaired, you have to have like a reader that goes across your site so they can actually read the words, so it reads out loud the words on your website, right? So that came out 2 years ago, is like an ADA compliance thing. And so there are already lawsuits that have happened for smaller businesses. So I'm talking mom and pop businesses that end up getting hit with a $10,000, $20,000 lawsuit because their websites are not ADA compliant. You do not want to be that person who is sharing your life on social media and your business on social media who ends up getting popped in a lawsuit because you created a video with John Cena in a warehouse, and now John Cena's people are coming after you because he would have never have been inside a warehouse with you in the first place, and he's not interested in commercial real estate.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm bringing all this up. So identity, let's talk about that. Identity equals intellectual property. Celebrities, public figures, and private individuals are protected. And again, talking about those celebrity things, celebrities, they have all of their shit like locked down, right? There's those unauthorized deep fakes. Oh, you can't say great view because of the Yep. So what Dwayne, I'm assuming what Dwayne is saying is that you can't say great view in a listing because of the sight impaired, right? So if you're telling somebody that it has a great view and they can't see, then you can't say that. And there's all different types of implications when it comes to that. Right now, YouTube is combating. Hey, Real Estate Ron has joined us over on the Gram, Ron Koenigsberg. He'll be speaking at the Global CRE Broker Virtual Summit on November 19th.
Crazy lineup.
With the Massimo Group. There's going to be 10 brokers, world-class brokers, major earners that will be sharing their blueprints of success with you. Check it out at cresuccess.com. That's cresuccess.com. I am not an affiliate. I do not get any benefit from that. So just check it out. It's going to be a great event. I know there's going to be tons of people that are going to really actually benefit from that event. So real quick, so YouTube is trying.
I like really can't take myself seriously. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, Alan. So YouTube right now is trying to combat unauthorized deepfakes. How are they doing that? They're actually getting content creators to upload. Kyle and Sarah. Good morning, Kyle. Joining us over on the Gram Fam. Kyle and Sarah. So YouTube is going to start requiring. Yeah, you just got to pop it up.
I'm just like I don't know. I should have taken it down. Oh, it's kind of giving. Okay, right? Like it's like. Hold on, I can do it. Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I got all invested in this, and you doing your hair. Okay, so.
Just trying to make it look like you. That's better.
With the deep fakes,
right?
What they're going to be doing is they're going to be asking content creators to start uploading more documentation of who they are, and then they are going to have programs that are going to be scanning for deep fake material on YouTube to pull that content down. The other big issue is, obviously there's voice scams out there, and the things that you can do with stuff like Murph AI. It ain't easy being Mo. No, it isn't.
Not.
Have a great day, Kyle. Thanks for joining in this morning.
All right, there we go.
That's the other thing too, is I've talked about, and I talked about it at the top of the show, is the fact that if you're using copyrighted music, so like everybody loves Taylor Swift, right? Everybody loves Taylor Swift.
Well,
If
sorry. Go on.
Same.
This is much
but,
better. Okay.
But you have to be really careful. And I think Fly can actually talk about this from the Suno portion of it, right? So Suno, she creates music from that. But when you are trying to emulate, is that a good word?
Yeah, or reference or evoke or copy. Like, let's just be real, right? So when you go into Suno and you prompt it, it will block. It will not process. Like if you're like, do a Taylor Swift song or like influence of Cardi B or like whatever, right? It'll be like, I can't do that because you put this name in there. So there are different ways that you can, I don't want to say get around that, because that's not what I'm advocating for, but there are, especially when we're talking about Suno, and this is less to do with, like specific artists, or maybe we could even talk about like the Miyazaki, like everyone doing Studio Ghibli, right? And like all that stuff, right? Like that, there's a difference between somebody's style specifically that is like their signature, and then also like just like genre, right?
Right.
Like the genre of anime is like, wow, I can see some. My 16-year-old self is really mad that I'm about to say this, but it's like Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli is like inside of that genre, right? And he's like, but then he has his own like very specific characteristic signature look, right? Yes. Or the whole studio does. Yes. Same thing, so it's like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or like, the Beatles, or like whatever, like, like they all live inside of specific musical genres that all have common characteristics and descriptors. And so it's more about identifying like what are those things from the genre that you're trying to evoke, like what are the specific elements and characteristics, as opposed to just being like, do Taylor Swift. And so, so there's different ways of thinking about that. But Suno, and it's less so with ChatGPT. I feel like you can jailbreak ChatGPT more easily than some of the other apps, especially. But yeah, Suno won't let you. Suno's like, haha, I know. And that's also interesting because Suno is like building itself into a tool for people to create IP of their own that they could monetize. You know what I mean? And so it's interesting to see a tool kind of bake that in from the beginning.
Well, infamously, didn't they get sued by the Rolling Stones for like a 7-second, if not, was it Oasis?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, and like Dwayne brought up, of just like getting sampled in a hip hop album. Like you're gonna get paid from that. Correct. Versus if you're not gonna get paid from that because you don't have a relationship or permission or things like that. Oh, you know what I mean?
I was wrong. It's the Verve for Bittersweet Symphony.
Bum, 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 bum,
right?
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. So the Verve sampled a small part of the orchestral version of the Stones song "The Last Time," and they ended up owning the rights of the song, right? And so it comes back to who owns the actual IP, who owns the intellectual property. So for those of you who are wondering, like, what are they talking about? IP. So intellectual property. So who owns the intellectual property? Who does the likeness belong to? And do you have the license for that? I do get asked by clients quite a bit. I want to really use this song. And I just kind of like, I give them like the deer in the headlight look, and I'm like,
Yeah, when I used to work with writers in like theater, film, and television, like I would always see scripts and they're like, "Eye of the Tiger" plays, and I'm like, bro, first of all, Rocky did it. You can't do that. Just don't. Just be original. And also, I'm just like, do you have any idea how much that's going to cost? Don't
Yes.
do that. You can't just
Yes.
don't like just don't, and you want to know what? It's hard because I understand the impetus to do it because we have relationships with IP. They're culturally significant to us. They're significant to how we define ourselves as people. But the second you move, it's just what you were saying in the beginning. The second you move into a space where you could like yourself be profiting off of that, so it's there's kind of two threads of what we're talking about here is the manipulation of somebody's likeness,
Yep.
and the sort of ethical concerns and challenges around that. And then also the use of somebody's likeness or the use of their material, their IP, whatever it is. There's like anything that's like theirs that
Right.
they've produced or created for your own commercial gain. Like it's murky. It's always been murky, especially in in the entertainment business. There's so many conversations about this all the time, and as people, I think a lot of it is just ignorance.
Yep.
And I don't
Well,
mean that to sound dismissive, but just like people
no,
just
but
don't they just
ignorance of
don't
the
know.
law, ignorance of the law does not give you the ability to not follow the law. Like it's like an actual thing, right? Like I didn't know it was against the law. Well, I'm
Tough.
sorry, that's not an actual that's not an actual way to like skirt out of it, right?
Yeah.
So real quick to break down Mari Smith's clause, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about IP. We're talking about you know, protecting yourself. Like if you are a speaker, if you're going out and speaking, Mari Smith does a lot of stuff. She is the queen of Facebook, and she's talking about a clause that she's now putting in all of her speaking contracts. Um, Key protections include your face, your voice, your image, your gestures. That's all your property, right?
I would love for somebody to try to recreate mine. I'm just saying.
The eyebrow. Um,
And also just like the
that no training models on your content without consent. So there can't be any training done, right? No altering your likeness. That consent is required each time, and that a breach of this is legal consequences. So if you speak, coach, train, or appear on camera anywhere, she's highly recommending that you add this clause to your contracts. We can get you that information. It is actually a Google Doc that Mari made available. And if you DM me or you DM Fly, we can send you that Google Doc. It didn't show up pretty in the comments, so Fly got rid of it. But very, very important, because I know that we have a lot of people who pay attention, who are speakers, who do go up on stage, and they go to different conferences. So make sure that you are
I'm sitting here looking at you being
trying
like,
to adjust everything.
yes.
So I actually hate the fact that these slide, and then during the summer I get this really weird tan line right here on my nose
I love that.
because my glasses slide down. Drives me nuts.
Well, I need to somehow like I have to like raise my eyebrows up a little more, and then this.
Like I always
and
have
I
to
was
look
like,
surprised if I'm
I
gonna
need to
anyway.
like make my eyes really big. Okay, cute.
Oh my lord. So then here, let's talk about AI music roles when marketing a business. Commercial use does not equal personal creator use. So we talk about this. So on Instagram, you have personal creator and you have your business page, right? If you go into the music selections on your business page on Instagram for your business, you'll see that a lot of it is like either royalty free or commercial free use music, meaning that if you're going to use it, you can use it for advertising your business or promoting something, right? But if you have a personal creator account, there's no such restrictions. So you can use trending music, you can use viral sounds that are coming through. But if you are using your personal account to promote your business, Dr. Fromage has joined us over on the gram. Good morning, Dr. Fromage. And Rodney Dyer has also joined us over on the gram. If you're using it to promote a product or a service, that is a no-no. Like, you are not supposed to do that. If it's for personal use, like say you are out with your family, and it's a montage of a day at the beach, right? That's okay. However, I do caution that if all of your content on your page is all about business and then you have your personal family in there, there could be something said that you use your personal account for business, and there's the potential that you can get sued. Another note I'd like to say is that royalty free does not mean it's free to use commercially. Now,
Mm.
for the most part, royalty free music means that you can use it for whatever. However, there are people who provide royalty free music that say cannot be used in a commercial context. What is a commercial context? Are you promoting a product or service? Simple as that. TikTok and IG music is not safe for ads or landing pages. So
Mm.
every time you see one of these companies that flies across your screen and they've got trending music playing, such as Taylor Swift, you know, they're going to get sued. They're going to lose everything because these big companies don't give two shits that you're a mom and pop business. They want their cash. That's the whole point that they exist, is for licensing. And those licenses are not cheap. And
Yeah, and
they're really hard. Like, it's really hard to get in touch with people to do freaking licensing.
yeah.
Super annoying.
Yeah, it's just like, and ultimately, like, okay, if people who, what's the nicest way to say this?
Don't be nice. You're me.
Yeah, okay, like your social media thing, like the shelf life of that is not significant enough for you to put that level of resources into it. Like, if you were making like a blockbuster movie, then yeah, okay, like maybe like that is something a little bit larger scale, right? Or like if you're, hopefully one day Mulzer, gets his TV show, right, gets his Netflix deal, and then he'll be able to get whatever music he wants, you know what I mean? But it's just
Yep.
like this, like, scale it down. It doesn't, like I was saying before, even though these things are important parts of our like personal identities and how we define ourselves and like participate in culture, like it you can achieve, this is what I want people to think about. How can you achieve the same effect, using similar elements? This is what I was talking about with Suno, right? Like, what are the actual building blocks of what you're trying to evoke, and figure out a way to do that doesn't put you in a precarious position. Because also, like, getting sued sucks. Like, and I mean, I don't personally know, but like, getting sued is not an ideal outcome that you want,
Right.
unless
Unless that's your business.
I'm not even, yeah, right, whatever, right? But also the other things that can happen, that I've seen for people who have, used things that they shouldn't have, is they've gotten their accounts flagged, or they've gotten their accounts shut down, or the videos removed, or like then they get shadow banned or throttled, right? Like, and for the unfortunate thing that I will say, I mean, I think back to the days of like Napster and like pirating music. I was alive back then.
LimeWire.
LimeWire. Oh man, just sitting in my friends. I'm not going to admit anything. But it's one of those things where it's just because everybody did it doesn't mean that it's okay. And every once in a while you would see like somebody would get like I remember being in middle school and being like, oh, what's LimeWire? And then like reading some yahoo.com news article that was like, soccer mom gets sued for $3 billion for using for downloading stuff on LimeWire. And I was like, oh, sick. Okay, so we're not doing that. Right. But it's like, because it is so common, people think it's okay. And then also, unfortunately, like, people do get away with it. But it's just, if you're if you get caught or you get called out, and it's much easier for, you can't upload a video on YouTube or TikTok. Like, it'll scan it. Like, it'll scan it for copyrighted content. And so it'll block you, right? And so it's just I don't know.
It's not worth the, I think what it comes down to is it's not worth the risk. right? It's not worth the risk of you losing your business because you want to be trendy, is what it boils down to. The last thing that we wanted to talk about today, and I know we're coming up on time, is that Fly actually came up with a really good list. And she brought up a good point when we were talking about this, about how all of these platforms are using AI to train. They're using AI to use your content to train,
Yeah.
right? Did I say that right? They're using your content to train their AI. That's better. That was what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I understood you the first time. But we also share the same brain cell, and today we share a likeness. I'm just like, this is all just AI generated, actually. This is about the quality that AI would generate, actually. So let's just be real about that. Now, so you and I all often speak about how when you put things out on social media, it is a great way to, build relationships and gain visibility. But you do not own anything on these platforms.
Correct.
You're not in control of anything that you put on these platforms. You could wake up one day and your LinkedIn profile has gone poof, or whatever, right? But as a part of that, so when we were looking at Mari Smith's AI clause, I thought it was interesting because recently LinkedIn has changed or updated some of the terms and conditions around what it's doing with your content. But and people were sort of freaking out, just like, I don't want LinkedIn to use my, specifically to use my content to train its AI generation tools to help other people make content. It's kind of interesting, right? But all of the platforms have it. And so, within the settings of LinkedIn, X, the Meta apps, basically every major social media platform, if you go into settings, there are toggles and options to turn off and on what kind of data you're sharing. And actually not specific, maybe that's not the best way to say it, because they have your data, they have it all. They have it. And depending on the terms and conditions, they can do very much well with it, what they please. But the specific toggles around using what you post and your pictures, et cetera, into feeding its generative AI tools. Because now all of that, it's like everybody has their own proprietary AI. Generative AI. I mean, most of it is probably just a wrapper for one of the major ones, right? Yep. But so if you have concerns about what you're putting out there and how it's being used and sourced for other people to benefit from, just go in there and take a look at your settings. I saw some people on Reddit. Yes, I do go on Reddit just because I need to be everywhere to understand the landscape, but the environment. People were like, oh, I'm going to delete my LinkedIn. Oh, I'm never going to post on LinkedIn again. And I'm just like,
so I look at it, they're giving you options to opt out, correct? And Fly has a list. If you want the list, she actually has a list with how the little, steps that you take. So DM Fly for the list. She'll give it to you. But this brings back memories of Cambridge Analytica and the whole situation. The whole situation of oh, Facebook stole our data. Facebook didn't steal your damn data, okay? When you signed the terms of service, you signed your life away.
Like Ursula, right? Like signing the contract, blah blah blah. Just
but that's the thing. When you are agreeing to be on these platforms, unless they give you an opt-out option, right? As they're doing with this generative AI, where you can toggle it off, everything else is up for grabs. You signed your life away when you agreed to be on the platform. If you are not aware of that, I'm making you aware of that now, right? Ignorance of the law doesn't mean that you're not guilty of whatever it was that you did wrong. So, which goes along with everything that we've been saying. But you should be aware that if a product is free, like LinkedIn, like X, well, we pay for X, but we're still signing our life away, like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. If the product is free, you are the product.
Yeah.
Okay. So from today, if you are a speaker, if you go up on stage, if you are a coach, you should put a clause like Mari Smith has into your contracts, so that they can't use AI, they can't use you to train an AI. They can't use your face or your likeness to create AI type videos, and all of the content that you produce for them should not be used for AI. We can send you that document. It is Mari Smith's document. It is not my document. It is hers, but I can send you the link to it because she gave it out for free. It is a Google Doc. Fly also has a list for you if you're interested in how to toggle off like generative AI learning on all of your social content on a bunch of different platforms. So she can send that to you. DMs are open. Please contact us if you have any questions. I think this is really an important conversation. It's going to be a conversation that we're going to continue to have as we get more, as AI changes, as AI changes the landscape. In a world of generative AI. Okay. The other thing is I would highly recommend that you audit your music, and you keep in mind, if you are promoting a product or a service, just be careful with what kind of music you choose. I do think that in the future, there is going to be an entire section of lawyers that their job is to scour the internet, and they're probably going to create an AI program to scour people's profiles and be like, oh, hey, this is a business page that's using copyrighted music that they probably didn't pay the license for. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So there's going to be a whole, hey, capitalism at its best, right? Or worst, however you want to look at it. I do think that that's going to be a thing that's going to happen in the future. So thanks for joining us today.
This was educational. Somehow this was like possibly one of our most educational episodes, and also just like with the entertainment factor, right?
So just got to tell you before we kick off, I actually had in Amazon, I had a wig that matched your hair color. But it wasn't going to get here in time. Okay. And I was so bummed. I had that, and what else did I have? I had something else that it was just going to be perfect. And I was going to show up with my red hair and my curls.
I love it. And your iced coffee.
All right, everybody. Social Surge, it will be back here on Tuesday.
In November.
Oh my God. Okay. Everybody have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.